Second question is, there is no name, that to progress in Bandagi, should we take second bowl from Mola Papa? Short answer right now, yes. Second, third, fourth, fifth. If Imam comes and if he want to give you, if he want to reward you, he wanted to bestow you, he wanted to be merciful to you, and he want to give you Isme Azam, take it. No question. What I would like you to do, whoever is asking this question, and others who like to learn more about the process of receiving Isme Azam, those lectures are in Urdu. If you listen to them a couple of times, and then if you request, we do have a class tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoon, on Ibadat and Isme Azam. Inshallah, we will try to cover that in tomorrow's session at 1 o'clock. So yes, short answer is yes, you should. And tomorrow you will see why. Acha, this next question from Aman. Could you repeat the two things, please, which Mola suggested for us to recognize the Imam? Acha. So we were talking about in the Golden Jubilee, Imam said, if you wanted to recognize the Imam of the time, then take these two things. And Mullah said to the leaders, if you understand, underlined word here is if you understand. And then if you make the Jamaat understand, again underlined word, if you make the Jamaat understand, then they will be able to recognize me by these two things. And what were there? One, Hadith Saklain. Saklain wasn't bari, heavy, weighty. Two heavy things. Prophet Muhammad in his Hadith says, I want to leave you with two heavy things. Why heavy? Uska koi wazan tha kya? Was it really heavy? No. Very important. In this sense, I'm going to leave you two very, very important things. One is the book. The book. And we all understand the book at that time was referred to the knowledge and the ahadith and the revelation which was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, meaning Quran. Second, my itrat, Panchtane Pak, my progeny, my Ahle Bayt, Imam Tahirin, the Imams, Ahle Nabi, Aulad Ali. And if you hang on to both of them, then you will never become sect. Para nahi ho jayenge aap. You will be able to stay together on Siratul Mustaqim. And the second thing Imam gave was Ayah Nur, Surah number 24, Ayah number 35. And what is the principle within Ayah Nur? There are many principles, but I'm going to just talk about one. Nuran ala Nur. Nur after Nur. Imam after Imam. Progeny after progeny. Imam Ahle Nabi Aulad Ali. Nuran ala Nur. One Imam after another Imam. Imam after another Imam. Imam after another Imam. What is the concept? Hidden concept within this Hadith Saklain and Ayah Nur, that if we understand the concept of Imamat, I'm not talking about recognition of Imamat, concept of Imam or concept of Imamat, then we will stop saying that Mullah Ali was our first Imam and Imamat started with Mullah Ali. You will say, Aziz Bhai, we learned from the childhood Mullah Ali was our first Imam. Yes, you are right. Yes, you are right. The first Imam of the sixth cycle, first Imam of the sixth cycle was Mullah Ali. What about the fifth cycle? What about the fourth cycle? What about the cycle of Adam? What about them? If we say that there was no Imam before Mullah Ali, you know what you are saying? That this world can sustain itself without the Imam. When we believe this world cannot sustain itself without the Imam, and if there was no Imam before Mullah Ali, I think we were doing wonderful. You know, there was Adam, there was Hazrat Noah, there was 124,000 other prophets, and we were doing wonderful. So which one is correct? What do we believe? We need to learn and understand and recognize the Imam of the time. What does it mean? Timelessness. That's what we need to learn. We cannot limit ourselves to the sixth cycle only. We cannot just beginning from a point and not learn about the previous cycles. Why Imam is talking about Adam? Adam was not in sixth cycle. Adam was in first cycle. Hazrat Noah was in second cycle. Hazrat Ibrahim was in third. Hazrat Musa was in fourth. And Hazrat Isa in fifth. And Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in sixth. Mullah Ali was the first Imam of the sixth cycle. The Shariat Muhammadi ke pehle Imam, the first Imam of the law and the Shariat of Prophet Muhammad. You can go and look it up, this hadith, that the example of the Harun is the example of Ali with me. Prophet Muhammad said, the example of the Harun with Musa is the example of Ali with me. Matlab kya hai? What does it mean? Ali will be the first Imam in my cycle, and he would do the interpretation of my Shariat, my book, and the religion of Allah. He will be the Sahib Tawil, the person who will do the interpretation. Just like Harun was the Imam after Musa, he was Sahib Tawil. He did the interpretation of the Shariat of Musa, the book of Musa, and the religion of Allah. If anybody is interested in knowing who were the Imam with Adam, with Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, or with Musa alayhi salam, or Isa alayhi salam, or Ibrahim alayhi salam, let me know and I will be happy to share with you. So we cannot just say there was an Imam and not be able to give you a name. Alright, so what was the question here again? We were talking about the two heavy things. The reason Imam had given us that, so we may recognize the Imam of the time, timelessness, not Imam of our time, but Imam of the time for all the time. And we could do that with the principle of Nurun ala Nur and with the understanding of Quran, because in Quran you will find all that. I believe I have mentioned this in our previous session. The word Imam was first used for Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, because they were not only the prophets of their time, but they were also imams of their time. The Ibrahim and Ismail. Acha. So next question. Who was Adam and he first man on the earth? Good question. Because Imam said you should recognize, should ask yourself, who was Adam? And this person is asking. That's wonderful. Great. Adam of our time. What does it mean? Adam of our time? The Adam of the first cycle of our time, his name was Adam-e Sarandipi, Takum bin Bajala. Takum, the son of Bajala. You mean we have the name of Adam? We only knew him as Adam. Adam is a title. जिस तरह से हम कहते हैं इमाम, इमाम एक टाइटल है, फिर इमाम का नाम भी तो होता है. कभी करीम होता है, कभी सुल्तान होता है, कभी अली होता है, कभी हुसैन होता है. Adam of our cycle, his name was Takum bin Bajala, Takum the son of Bajala, meaning his father was also known. And if you want the name of Adam's grandfather, inshallah we can give you that too. If you want to know the last name, surname of Adam, Takum bin Bajala, inshallah we can give you that too. Yes. Because if this was not the case, Imam would not have said, to know the Adam and ask yourself, who was he? Where did he come from? Who sent him and what was before him? So our understanding at the small level, at the child's level, yes, Adam was the first human, but not at the adult, at the intellectual level. No. That's why you need to read those 28 questions in that article. It will tell you and it will prove it to you that Adam was not the first man as we think. Okay. Great question. Thank you. The next question is, this is a repeat question of those two things that we already talked about, and there are 2 or 3 of them again and again. So we're not going to talk about that. Bamar Gofa. What is Bamar Gofa? Forehead, Peshani, Hazira Kus, Ala Makam. Bamar Gofa is the place of the Noor. Bamar Gofa is the place where your soul, when it will elevate itself, will reach to Bamar Gofa right here in your forehead. And there where you will find the Noor of the Imam, and that is your Hazira Kus, sacred sanctuary. The Bamar Gofa is the place where you will find the Dar of the Imam. In the Quran, there are different names for this. Bamar Gofa is in our language, in our Gujarati or Sanskrit language, because we are from the culture that we came from. But if you ask someone other than Khoja Jamaat, the word they will tell you is Hazira Kus. English में इसको sacred sanctuary कहते हैं. And in generic language, Imam has used forehead. Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to that Imam, has used the word forehead. Jabeen का word use किया है मौला बापा ने. So Bamar Gofa, you understand now. जी. There was one thing I sent back to you, Zinat. I did not understand if there was a question or comment. I have marked it in red and sent it back to you. So if you understand, you can ask. Okay, Kareem, I don't know what his last name, is asking, then are we all Arif? No. What does Arif means? The one with complete marifat, with complete recognition of Imam. We are just beginning to recognize the Imam. We are Garib and Nachis and nobody. We cannot claim to be an Arif. But we can say we want to be Arif, we want to recognize the Imam. The Arif word is very particular word for those mu'mineen who truly have worked hard in their ilm, in their marifat, in their ibadat, on their Isme Azam, and they have received a recognition of their own soul, and therefore they have recognized the Imam. Then and then only a Arif can call himself an Arif. And there are only few in our history that we can say they were in true sense Arifin. For example, Mansur, Pir Shams, Pir Sadaddin, Pir Nasir Khusro, and few of the other, including Salman Farsi. They were in true sense Arifin. But we are Garib and nobody. We cannot claim to be Arif. Thank you for asking. Okay, next question. I don't know if this is for this class or not, but if someone is asking that what about those children who are mentally challenged or somehow physically handicapped? How do we understand them? So I'm going to just give a short answer. And that is that Imam knows who to give what. If Imam has given someone a special child, and if they are sabir, one with the patience, and they will say, Shukr Mola, for whatever you have given me, then that special child can be a reason for your nijat. That child can be a reason for your nijat. If you say, thank you, Mola Bapa. But if you keep complaining, then why this burden on me? And why this burden on this child? Remember, there is no burden on that child. There is no burden on that child. Because child does not even know what there is. But there is definitely, I agree, a heavy burden on the parents and the family. Surah 2, Surah Baqarah, ayat number 155 and 156. If you read that carefully, Allah talks about the test of 5 kinds. But at the end of that, that is our answer. Then if you take on that test, and if you don't complain, the condition number 1, if you don't complain, और सबर करते हैं, और शुक्र करते हैं, be patient and be thankful, then Allah will give you ajr azim. Those can be reason for your nijat. Because Allah tested you and you pass, and you will go from bottom to the top, no question asked. आपसे कोई भी सवाल जवाब नहीं होगा. How about that? Because you already have given your test. There will be no question answered to you. Think about that. So I'm going to leave at that with this question. Next question is, when does intellect come to action? When a mu'min goes step by step and what miracle will it bring to us in the process of a spiritual journey? Wow, what a question. And this question is asked by Rahim Ali. What a great question. Can you imagine how this guy is thinking already? Intellect plays role on every single step of our spiritual journey. Every single step, it plays a role. I'll give you a couple of examples. Remember, we were talking about the soul. If we don't even understand our soul, then how will we progress and how will we know that are we at the level of animal or rational soul, a human soul, or at the level of spiritual soul which Imam has breathed into us? What do we need? Intellect. Intellect plays a great role in our enlightenment, in our spiritual progress. Great role. Which miracle will we see? Are you not looking at a miracle right now? Ask yourself. The knowledge, the Imam's true knowledge that you are receiving, that is a miracle on its own. Second, in the place we are standing today, remember there are 12 million Ismailis. How many are on this line? And how many are holding sessions like this? Can we even say out of 12 million, 1200? I don't think so. 1200? Not even 1200? That is a miracle right here. Now let's talk about spiritual miracles. First, Imam's Farman. The very first Farman of Aka Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam, in 1885, August, when he said on his Gadi Mubarak, Imam says, this is the time of Qiyamah. This is the last time, the last day, Dore Qiyamah, Akhri Din. In this time, you will see the miracle. Those who are Mu'mineen will see the miracle, and those who are not Mu'mineen also will see the miracle but will not believe. So there are two kinds of Mu'mineens. One, who will see the miracle and will believe. Second, who will see the miracle but will not believe. Which one are we? अगर हम कहते हैं कि हम वो मोमिनीन हैं जो मिरेकल को देखकर यकीन करते हैं, we believe when we see the miracle of the Imam, then we are looking at a miracle right now. What is lacking? Believe. Believe की ज़रूरत है. In the spiritual journey, what other miracle will we see? The first miracle is the miracle of sound. Second miracle is miracle of the Noor, Didar. The third miracle is the miracle of Isme Azam, when your Isme Azam will become alive, and that Isme Azam will walk with you. The Isme Azam will talk to you. I don't think I need to go further than this. There are miracles upon miracles upon miracles. There are three kinds of certainty: belief, Iman; Ilmul Yaqeen, the certainty with knowledge. What I just said and what you just heard, if you believe, you are on the first level of certainty, the certainty of knowledge. Then with your ibadat, you get to the second level of certainty, and that is called Ainul Yaqeen, the certainty of I. If you believe the first one, you will get to the second one in your ibadat, and you will be able to see everything that you had believed by hearing, by listening. through certainty of knowledge. What you have learned through certainty of knowledge, you will be able to see at the second level, certainty of I. Then the third certainty, the certainty of truth, becoming one with the truth, one with the Imam, one with the Noor of the Imam. I'm going to give a beautiful example, a physical example, so everybody will be on same page and will be able to understand the three levels of belief. Okay? Most of you, I believe we are in North America, in America somewhere, in Canada somewhere. So take this example as you wish. But since we are here, I'm going to use the example of Sirius Tower in Chicago. That's the example I'm going to use. Why am I using that example? Because Sirius Tower is between the Wabash and Michigan Avenue and the lake shore, where there is a Lake Michigan behind this building. So let's say you are standing on top of the building and I am standing on the bottom of the building, and we are on a phone call, and you are saying to me that from the top of this building I see a lake, I see the water, and water looks blue. But on the bottom of the building, do I see the lake? Nope. Do I see the water? Nope. Can I tell the water is blue or green or dirty? Nope. But if I believe you, then I will say what? I have certainty of knowledge because I believed you. And because I believed you, what is the second obvious step for me? I will go around the building on the other side at the lake shore, and guess what? I will see. At the certainty of I, Ainul Yaqeen ke maqam par, what will I see? I will see a lake, I will see the water, and what else will I see? It's blue. How did I get to the second level of certainty? By walking, by working. I took a journey. I went around the building. Mehnat ke bigar nahi. You cannot just sit in one place and say, well, I have ilmul yaqeen, I have certainty of knowledge, Mola Baba give me certainty of eyes. Nope, it's not happening. We have to walk. We have to walk on this journey. We have to take the effort. But only way we can take the effort if we believe in the first, the knowledge. So we go to the second level and we see all this. Now we are still on the phone with the person on top. He's telling us that not only this water is blue, but this water is cold, and if you jump into it, you will get wet. Two more intuition. It's cold and it will make you wet. By looking at that water, do I get wet? Is that water cold to me? No. How do I know the water is cold and I will get wet if I jump into it? How would I know? Only way, I have to walk again. I have to go on a journey. And I have to get to the lake shore. In the Lake Michigan, either I can put my feet into it or I can jump into it. And when I jump into it, I will find out two things. One, the water is cold or hot. Because he told me it was cold. I don't know. Only way I can know if I jump into that water. The water is cold. And as soon as I do that, I will realize that my clothes and myself I'm wet. The attribution of water is to make me wet. Now, remember we are talking about a spiritual journey here. We are not talking about lakeshore or water. If you wanted to see the nur of Imam, first you have to believe in the knowledge of the Imam which will take you there. Then you will be able to see the nur of Imam, the didar of Imam. But that's not the end of the journey. That is not the end of the journey. Seeing the nur is not the end of the journey. What is the end of the journey? Becoming one with the nur. Becoming one with the nur, that is the end of the journey. So I believe this explains some of the process of spiritual journey. There is one question from BC. Does Imam say he is talking Quran, so he guides us without us having to learn? Okay. Shanaz is asking that because we have the Imam, the speaking Quran, the Quran and Atik, why do we need to read Quran? I don't know what to say to this, but let me try. Imam is Quran and Atik. Imam is the speaking Quran. Imam have said, I will interpret the Quran for the Jamaat. Right? You will say, yes. We all heard of this farman. Then Imam said, I will give you ta'wil of the Quran. This was close to 13 years ago now. How many times have you seen Imam sit down with you or with the Jamaat or with anybody and have given the interpretation of the Quran? Have you heard Imam being a Quran and Natik? You say, well, I believe Imam is Quran and Natik. I believe too. But at the level of what? At the level of knowledge, not good enough. I want to see with my eyes. If you wanted to recognize the Imam, according to Imam's farman, not because it is convenient for you. I'm so sorry to say that. That we don't want to do anything. We don't want to take a step, a journey. But din raat, Mola Bapa, asal mein wasil kar Mola Bapa, mere ko tera didar de, Mola Bapa, do this, Mola Bapa, do this. You want Imam to do everything for you. When we going to do something? My friends, my humble request, we have to walk on this journey. We cannot just say, I'm not going to do anything, let Imam do everything. Yes, Imam is Quran and Atik. Yes, Imam does talk to you in the language of Quran within yourself, in your personal world. But when? How? To learn and understand that, Imam has given us what? Dua, Farman, Quran, books, knowledge. We have to utilize every single avenue, the key available to us, and that includes Quran. There is an article I believe I have shared with Zinat. If not, I will share again. It's called, do we recognize the Imam through Quran or do we read Quran through the nur of Imam? इसको उर्दू में बोलते हैं लाजिम और मलजूम, English compulsory. They are compulsory for each other. If you want to recognize Imam, you need Quran. If you want to understand Quran, you need Imam. Compulsory for each other. Compulsory for each other. We have to work hard. We cannot just say, why do I need to learn that? When Imam is giving me farman, is good enough. How are we going to understand the Farman? Imam has given us the Ginan, Pir has given us the Ginan, that's good enough. How are we going to understand the Ginan? If you are saying you already understand the Ginan, and if you are saying you already understand the Farman, then you don't even need this class. This session we have today, you don't even need that. Because you are way ahead of us. You are way ahead of us. You don't need us anymore. You don't even need anybody. You already have the Ginan, the Farman, the Imam. No, we cannot leave a key unturned. We need every single tool to recognize the Imam. And it is Imam saying, not me. Don't take my word for it. Imam says, if you wanted to recognize the Imam, then take these two things. And the first was Aziz Saklain. And then Ayah and Noor. And they both talks about and indicate the Quran and the book. Both takes us toward that. But then it's up to us. Nobody is forcing anyone. That is Imam's wish. That's what Imam's Farman. That's what Imam wants. Follow or not to follow is on our free will. Whatever we like. It's okay. Okay. I think that's the last one. Are there ingredients of good deeds, true knowledge, wisdom and intellect help us create love for Imam, which will be one of the key ingredients in the processing of creating love toward the Imam to have spiritual enlightenment? It's a very huge question. Because the love of Imam are on step, the more you know about the knowledge, about the ilm, about the Imam, the more love you will create in your heart. The more you get closer to the recognition of Imam, the more you will have the love of Imam. The more Giryazari, more tasbiyat, more ibadat you do, you will have more love of Imam. So first, knowledge, ibadat and love. Do you remember we read that in our Farman last week? The 3-step. Knowledge, number 1. Without the knowledge, we cannot do anything. Second, ibadat. Without the ibadat, we cannot get to the second level. Then the love comes. Because to have a love, you have to understand and you have to recognize someone to love. And that is the love of Imam. Thank you very much. So I believe these are good enough questions for today. If you have any other question that you want to ask now, before we get to our journey on our subject of the day, then go ahead.